For this week's project, we are going to be practicing composition and value. Composition is how the artist arranges all of the items in their drawing onto their paper. Value is studying lights and darks of objects. A value scale usually goes from a white or a light color to a black or a dark color. In the case of this project, for composition, we are going to be drawing a pumpkin, but instead of drawing the pumpkin right in the middle of the paper, we are going to arrange our composition so that the pumpkin is zoomed in and takes up most of our paper. For value, we are going to be coloring our pumpkin with lots of shadows and highlights to make it look more realistic and round. To begin, you are going to need paper, pencil, and we are going to trace today. I recommend if you have something brown, like a brown crayon, that would work best. But if you don't have brown, you could use green, maybe a red, or even black. The reason we're going to use brown instead of black is because brown is a more natural color when you think of pumpkins, so it will help our picture look more realistic. To begin, I'm going to draw a line with bumps going from the top of my paper, coming around down to the side. I don't want to make too many bumps because it might not look so realistic later on. This line is going to show all the ridges or indents in my pumpkin. Next, in the center where I feel like my pumpkin stem would be, I'm going to draw another smaller bumpy line. From here, I'm going to make a stem with an S curved line. I'll put a little oval to show where the stem was snipped when they cut it off the vine. And another S curve coming down like this. I can also make it look a little bit more realistic by putting some V-shaped lines around here to make it look like the other side of the stem. Now we're going to work on making those lines that you see on the pumpkins. I'm going to start with these indents right here. Putting my pencil, I'm going to go from here in a curved line shape to the center. One here. Again, from the indent towards the center. I'm going to stop where my stem is, lift up and over, like there. So it looks like this line is continuing behind the stem. I'll go to this indent, come down. Do you see how it's starting to look like the top of a pumpkin? From here, down. Now that I've done this side of my pumpkin, I'm going to start on this side. This side's going to be a little bit more challenging because I don't have a guideline to show me where the lines are. But I'm going to use my brain and my prior experience of seeing pumpkins to know that usually these spaces are pretty even. So I'm going to do my best to kind of make these spaces equally as even. I'll put a curved line going this way. I'm going to turn the line going the opposite way and start moving these lines like so. Here, I'm going to make a decision to turn my line almost straight with just a little curve. This way, if it's too straight, it might not look like it belongs to the pumpkin, but with a little curve, it makes a little bit of sense. I could have curved it this way as well. That's up to you. From here, I'm just going to make a few more lines on the stem to add some texture. I want to remind you that your pumpkin does not need to look exactly like mine. In fact, it shouldn't. Also, this might have been pretty challenging because we're trying something new, and that's okay. Remember, since this is a video, you can stop, rewind, play it again, or just keep trying. All I care about is you learning something new and trying something new. It never has to be perfect as long as you're trying. Now that we've finished drawing with the pencil, it's time for us to outline. I mentioned that the best material to use would be a brown colored crayon, color pencil, or marker. If you don't have brown, you can use a different dark color. I chose brown because it's most realistic to the shadows on a pumpkin and on the pumpkin stem. I'm going to fast forward through my tracing so that we can move on to the next part. Now that I have finished tracing, I'm going to go ahead and color the background. We are going to save coloring the pumpkin for day 2. For my background, I'm going to choose one color that is a cool color. This is my choice as an artist. You are able to choose whatever you want to do for the background. You could do green for grass, or you can make a background, maybe a haunted house, whatever it is you want to do. But for me, I'm choosing a cool color because I think it'll help my pumpkin really pop off the page and be more exciting to look at. I'm going to fast forward again through the background so that you can see where you should be at the end of day 1. Take a look at where you should be at the end of day 1 of this project. You should have drawn your pumpkin, traced it in a darker color, and colored your background. Make sure you put your project somewhere safe so that it does not get lost between now and next week. Also, make sure you put away all of your pencil and crayons or whatever materials you used today, because you need to keep them safe so that they don't get broken or lost, and you need to be responsible for your workspace and your materials. I cannot wait to see you again for next week and to see how your project comes out.